going to be talking about chemical bonding. And what's a chemical bond, you may ask? Well, a chemical bond is a mutual electrical attraction between the nuclei and the valence electrons of different atoms that binds the atoms together. Why are most atoms chemically bonded to each other? Well, this is because atoms are less stable by themselves, so when they bond with each other, the atoms decrease in potential energy, creating more stable arrangements of matter. And so now we're going to talk about the two types of chemical bonding. And the two types of chemical bonding are ionic and covalent. In ionic bonding, atoms give up electrons, and in covalent bonding, it results from the sharing of electrons pairs between the two atoms.
Bonding between atoms with an electronegativity difference of 1.7 or less is a covalent bond. Anything above that is ionic. So, bonding between two atoms of the same nature are completely covalent. Nonpolar covalent bonds is a covalent bond in which the bonding electrons are shared equally by the bonded atoms, thus balancing the distribution of electrical charge. Bonds that have 0 to 5% ionic character, or an electronegativity difference of 0 to 0.3, are nonpolar covalent bonds. And from 0.3 to 1.7 are polar covalent.
So, like Madison said, in a non-polar covalent bond, the electrons are shared equally because both atoms have the same electronegativity. An example of this would be a hydrogen bond, like here. In a polar covalent bond, the electron is not shared equally because one atom has a higher electronegativity. So an example of this would be in a chlorine-hydrogen bond. The chlorine has a higher electronegativity, so it's going to be pulling on that shared electron a little bit harder.
Now we're going to be discussing the formation of covalent bonds. We can see this formation in the bonding of two hydrogen atoms. To begin with, the potential energy is equal to 0 when the hydrogen atoms are either too far from each other or so close that the repulsion is equal to the force of the attraction between the two atoms. In order to get to the lowest energy state, the hydrogen atoms are going to be bumping back and forth. The potential energy lowers as the force of the attraction outweighs the repulsion, until it eventually gets to its most stable state here at the bottom of the graph.
Electrons of each atom are shared here and here, and they move in either orbital and at the bottom of the curve. The bond length is the average distance between the two bonded atoms. The bond energy is the energy required to break a chemical bond and form neutral isolated atoms.
This concludes our video. Hope you enjoyed.
Bye! Hello! Hello! Welcome! Welcome to our chemical bonding! Okay, so today, Covalent Bonds! Yay! Okay, go. Why are most atoms chemically bonded to each other?
Because
Share.
Hello.
Share. Read where they're connected.
Yeah, share.
Did you have it facing you?
Here. A polar covalent you can cut this out, right? Okay, so in a polar covalent bond